Hello, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Joe,
And I'm James.
and this is the J&J podcast. Now, I know you guys are like, James? Who's James? Where's John? Well, ladies and gentlemen, I have wonderful news for you. John has kicked the bucket. I know. I was so excited when I heard too.
Rip.
It was so
Rest in
sad.
pepperoni.
But you know what? I found a better person with the name Jay to take his place.
I'm a better person?
Well, everybody's a better person than John was.
Wow. I'm not sure if I should feel special. No.
You are special, though. I'm just kidding, folks. John is alive. He is just not feeling well today. So James here is going to be our another guest star and co-host. Say hello, James.
Hello. My name is James.
And so me and James and John have been friends for what now? 8 years?
Oh, dude. What is it? It's been since like 8th grade, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
8th grade? Yeah. Yeah, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah, because we hung out in 75.
Mm-hmm.
We really got to know each other, though, freshman year of high school. I'm pretty sure that's when it really started.
Yeah, and we didn't even go to the same high school.
Yeah.
I went.
Yeah, because it was... Yes. Are you sure we didn't go to the same high school? No, we didn't go to the same high school, same junior high school. Yes. Yeah. Okay, my bad.
So tell us a little bit about yourself.
What can I say? I'm a college student. I am really big into art of almost any kind. You throw music at me, you throw animation at me, anime specifically. Pretty much anything artistic. I am a deep thinker. Not a lot of people know that about me because I'm such a goofball. But I have 3 a.m. philosophy sessions. It's a good time.
What anime do you like?
Anime. My big 3 right now has got to be, in this order, Fairy Tail, One Piece, a third. I mean, okay. Have you ever heard of the show RWBY? RWBY?
No, I wish I could say that I have, but I haven't.
Okay. Well, basically, what it is, it's like a CGI animated type of show made by a company called Rooster Teeth, and it's basically a story about boys and how do I explain this?
Is this the thing that's on Netflix? It's like the Boys and Girls Club type thing?
Yes and no.
Okay,
let's take the Boys and Girls Club, but let's add evil monsters, weapons that are melee weapons but also guns, and a really good storyline that really does not develop for like a season or 2, but still, it's not really an anime. It's made by Americans, so I mean, take it as you want.
That's fair.
But it's ongoing and it's really good.
Would you recommend it to our fans?
Oh, I would. It's like, first off, it's PG. The trailers they did for it are a little more gory, but like once it gets to the real show, it is actually very PG. And like no blood, nothing. If someone's gonna get hurt, it just looks like they're in pain. Like, let's just say someone gets shot in the leg. It's just gonna look like someone basically punched them really hard in the leg, and they're just like doing a Peter Griffin where they're on the floor holding their leg. Like that type of.
Very cool.
Like, so it's really child friendly and it's really fun. It's a really good one.
Awesome. I'll have to check it out.
Oh, dude, spend like 5 hours of your life. It's all it takes, dude. 5-minute episodes, 5 to 10 minute episodes, nothing.
Awesome.
So how you been? What have you been up to, my man?
Not too much. I've been in I'm in Bible school, 2nd year.
Oh, nice.
Yep. I graduate a program this year, and I'm coming back for another program.
Okay.
And that's I have a girlfriend.
Oh, snap. So wait a second. Now, are you going for a priest title, or are you going for a more complicated position? Or not complicated, but what's what I'm looking for? Specific position.
So, and this is a little bit of background for the fans too. Generally on the island, you have priests, right? Like on Staten Island, we have priests, and not many Protestant pastors. right? And
Yeah.
so
Mhm.
what I would be, God willing, like if everything works out and I don't flunk out, I would become a Protestant pastor, which is
All right.
basically the same thing as a priest, but not Catholic.
Oh, okay, okay. Got it. Got it. Oh, first off, I'm a big believer in this saying. Speak what you like into existence. So you think you're gonna pass, you better say, I'm gonna pass.
Yeah, I know. I was
Advice
just
to all college students. I mean, a little blind optimism never hurt anyone.
That's fair. So, so we do this on the show. What did you have for lunch today?
All right, what did I have for lunch today? I honestly, it's actually yes. Oh, okay, so good. Well, I basically eat pizza every day, so chances are, if you ever ask me what I'm having for lunch, I'm having pizza every day. But specifically, tried something new today because I saw it. It was like heavens opened up when I saw this beautiful piece. It was an egg and potato pizza slice.
I don't know how to feel about that.
I don't blame you. Honestly, I will say this. It was very dry, but honestly, like my job is weird. I work in a paint store, but we had some ketchup packets lying around. I was like, I want to have some breakfast on my pizza. So I just put some ketchup on, and I'm not going to lie. It tasted awesome. Like it was worth it.
I might have to try that.
I think you might have to like special order that depending on where you go. Mm-hmm. But what is it? You know Euro Pizza by
mm-hmm.
Right by John.
Right, exactly. Yeah. Me and John go there all the time.
Yep, they do it. I'm
gonna have to try that.
So, what'd you have for lunch, Michael?
I had a fish sandwich,
ooh,
and a cookie, and a peanut. It's a peanut butter cookie, and it was a really good peanut butter cookie.
Ooh. I'm a sucker for like all things peanut butter.
And I really enjoy peanut butter cookie too. Peanut butter cookie and peanut butter cereal are my things.
Oh, dude, what was it? Reese's Puffs. That was my jam back in the day.
You know, I thought about something and it really scared me.
Go for it.
When you were little, you had tricks, right?
Oh, yeah, of course.
And the tricks were in all those cool shapes, right? Have you ever noticed now they're round balls, they don't taste as good?
Oh, yeah. Don't tell me tricks are just for
kids. It is, though, and that's why.
Oh, no.
That's why it will never be as good ever again.
Oh, dang, now I have to find another cereal. Well, actually, Cinnamon Toast Crunch. That is my new jam. That is my new...
Did you ever have... you remember Rugrats?
Oh, of course.
They made Reptar cereal. Like a legit cereal that was green in the shape of Reptar with marshmallows in it. And it was so good.
Did they?
It would turn the milk green. It was just so good.
Wait, how long ago was this? Is this recent?
No, this is back in the 90s.
Oh, back in the 90s, dude, they made cereals for every TV show. I remember when there was a Pokemon cereal.
That's fair. I think that if I ever get a chance to hit up eBay again, I might go see if I can find some Rugrats cereal.
Ooh. I would not do that because I watched the video. But I think it was a product called it was Pepsi Clear or something that. I don't remember specifically what it was called. It was a Pepsi product, and some guy bought it off eBay. Now this has been discontinued for about like 30 years from the 1980s. So he's like, I'm gonna drink this. This is gonna be great. I'm gonna relive my childhood. He drinks it. And he does like a little time lapse, like 25 minutes later, the guy just starts throwing up everywhere, and it's terrible because he gets it all on camera too. And I'm just like, I feel for you, man.
Oh yeah.
But I'm just saying, be careful with that pack. If you're buying food from somewhere else on eBay, Amazon, whatever, you should be careful with that.
Well, maybe just to case it, just to be like, put it in a case and be like, this is what was. This was the high, the apex of the 90s was Reptar cereal.
Oh, dude, yeah. If you want to keep it as a trophy, I 200% for that. But to actually have it,
that's fair.
No. Man.
So James, I'm wondering, what are your thoughts on this year's presidential candidates?
All right. I'm going to be completely upfront. I think every single candidate is not worthy of being a president. But that does not mean, as an American, I will not vote, because I will vote. And to be honest with you, and I'm not just saying this because I'm a college student, but I am really feeling the burn.
Really? Really?
Mm-hmm. The main reason behind that, aside from free college, which we really could in the future, maybe when we have kids and everything like that, that'd be great to have. That's another, sure, taxes are raised, but you know what? I think in the long run, it won't be the biggest of deals. But another thing is, this country's just been going downhill, not because of any one specific president per se. Well, okay, we can always go back to the Wall Street crash, but it's like everyone blames like Obama did this, Obama did that. Really, to be honest with you, the guy, for what he did, sure, he created a health care plan that was very affordable, but it did have some flaws from people I've actually talked to, and they've had problems with it. But the thing is, point of the matter, the country is going downhill. Absolutely. And to be honest, as much as Bernie's socialist ideas are there and they're pretty outrageous, we need something different. We need to do something else, because obviously what we're doing is not working.
Right. And like, I hear you, and it's scary.
Mm-hmm.
It's scary because we have no good candidates. And the fact that somebody... Yeah. Now, I enjoy history. I probably enjoy, in terms of classes, I probably enjoy history more than I enjoy Bible, like classes. Not in actual study, but I really enjoy history, and looking historically. The definition of insanity is trying the same thing more than once and expecting a different result.
Yes,
right? And so many socialists have led to so much evil in the past, just the past century. Right? Like, it's not like it's been like 200 or 300 years and we're trying something new. It's been like 70 years minus, you know what I mean? Like, our grandparents, our great-grandparents have been alive for the ramifications of some of that. And so for me personally, I look at Bernie, whatever his name is, and I'm like, I don't know who's worse, Bernie or Trump or Hillary. Like, at this point, I'm like, oh, Lord, I can't even...
I agree with you. Like I'm saying, I'm not really for any of these candidates, but we are given a right to vote.
Yeah.
And to be honest with you, someone has to lead our country anyway. Mm-hmm. So might as well be someone, even if they're all toxic, in my opinion, someone you still have to agree. Like, hey, we're going to pick the least lethal toxin out of all of them. Now, I will say this about Trump. There are some things he says that makes complete sense, but then he just blows all that into the sewer with some of the really stupid things he does, and I just don't get. He probably could be a great president, but his mindset is just way out there and not something I can support.
Right. I was hoping, I was rooting for Carson, but he just pulled out of the race.
Oh, Carson pulled out? I actually sort of liked him. I'm not going to lie. I wouldn't have minded.
Yeah, I was rooting for Carson. Now I'm sort of leaning for Rubio, but I don't know. This is my first election being able to vote. Presidential election at least. I'm very iffy about it at this point, and what I'm struggling with is the responsibility on us to vote, right? Because if we don't vote and someone evil gets in, right, that blood, like that's on our hands, right? But in that same token, if we vote and that person we voted for gets in and that person is a megalomaniac who kills people, right, that's also on our hands.
That is very true. The thing is, though, and this is something I saw on Facebook, and it was pretty true. I never really thought of it this way. We can vote for whoever we want. Whatever someone says can be great, and hey, yeah, let's get free college. Okay, cool, yeah, but you got to keep in mind the cabinet. However, even though Bernie is Democrat, there we go, that was what I was looking for. the cabinet, the Congress could be Republican, and they can just basically be telling, just like Obama, they could be like, no, we're not doing this. And, here we are for another 4 years or 8 years if he wins another, or whoever wins another election, of nothing happening. Mm. So you basically have to keep voting even after the president. You got to vote for who's going into Congress.
Right. And it's just and to be fair, the founding fathers did their job too well. And what I mean by that is they didn't want any one branch of the government having more power than the other, right? And they did that, and they did that really well. But now we're gridlocked. And we've been gridlocked for such a long time, right? And really, whether you're Democratic or Republican, I don't think it matters much anymore. Nothing's getting done.
I agree. What is it? I heard a funny thing. I actually heard the Republicans don't even like Trump. I'm just throwing that out there. The whole Republican Party is like, we sort of just want to like denounce him, but we can't. He's already
you need somebody
there,
right? And I mean, a big problem, especially in the Christian community, that I've noticed is that we're very set in terms of like, well, if we're going to vote for somebody, they have to be Republican, right? And then they have to be against abortion, and they have to be against homosexual marriage, right? And now, what?
Well, not that I have anything against homosexual marriage, to be honest with you. Like, it's sort of whatever. As long as they're not hitting on me, I'm cool. It's just, I agree with some of the things, of course, abortion, things like that. Of course, I agree with you 200%. The gay marriage thing, it's sort of fine as long as they don't get married in a church. That I'm cool with that, because then that's really ruining the sanction of marriage. Maybe the title of marriage, because like you think about it, other religions use the term marriage as well, and it's like you don't hear Christians or any other religion talking about any other religion saying like, "Oh, you're ruining the sanction of marriage. This is not what we stand for."
Right, and I actually, that was a really good point that I had never thought of before. And like, and I agree with the general Christian, like biblically reading the Bible, abortion is wrong, and homosexual marriage is wrong, and all of that stuff. But then the Christians who are voting ignore the vast majority of other biblical principles based on those two things. Right. So I'll give you an example.
Sure.
Right. The Republicans, right? Trump is against abortion and homosexual marriage, right? And the Bible says don't commit those two things. So all the Christians are flocking his way, right? But we also forget in the Bible where it says if a foreigner comes into your country, don't mistreat them.
That's
right.
True.
And so I feel like the whole of the Christian community in America is just throwing that out in favor of these other two issues.
And that's a thing as well. I agree with you 200%. That's actually a very good point that I didn't think of, really overlooking the other Christian values. But that's just another thing economically now. He wants to spend money to build a wall to keep people out of America. In my opinion, there are probably so many other better things that he can put towards instead of building a wall.
And
that's just my opinion.
I don't know. Are you a student of history?
I've dabbled. I'm not amazing in history, but I am interested in history.
So the general rule of history is that when you put walls around your border, that's a final nail in the coffin. Like if you look at Rome, right? Rome started to fall immediately after, like the Roman Empire as a whole started to fall immediately after when they had to put walls up, right? And you can look at most big empires, most big countries, right? And when they have to throw a wall up, that's when the beginning of the fall of a country.
I think I heard that's when, and then you cut off.
So when you throw up a wall in any country, most of the time, more times than not, that's the final hurrah of that country. That's the last leg, if you will. Right?
Yeah.
And please don't hear me, fans, don't hear me say I'm vote Democrat. Like that's not what I'm saying. I'm saying we need something completely different altogether.
Yes, I agree with that.
What's your favorite class?
Favorite class?
You mentioned you're a student. What's your major?
I've sort of been on the edge of undecided for the past couple of years because I came out of high school wanting to do architecture, building houses, and I took the elective in high school, and I loved it, and I did amazing in it. So going into college, I was like, yes, I'm going to be an architect. That's what I want to do. But
Oh, I can't hear you, bro.
since I was a wee Jame or be some.
Whoa. You kind of like phased out for a second.
Oh, I'm sorry about that. Basically, when I was little James, I wanted to actually be a cartoonist, an animator, someone who could be any part of that cartoon process. And just recently, like I've been having a tug of war of like, what do I want to do? Like I've just had a weird revelation out of nowhere. And I don't know, a couple of signs came my way, certain videos on YouTube of people I watch, and a lot of the things, and I'm just like, I can do that. So really at that point, I was just like, you know what? I think I decided this will make me happy. It'll be a tough road, but I'm going to do it. So I'm basically animation right now. That's going to be my main thing. I'm not officially declared animation, but I will soon.
That's really cool.
Yep. And
awesome. Please, my friend, bring back Danny Phantom, bring back Avatar. Please, we need them back. We need the 90s shows back. Well, early 2000s.
I was going to say, that was early 2000s. Avatar, actually, that ran its course. It came with Legend of Korra, which was an okay series. Did it need to happen? No, but it was cool. I'm a big fan of the 1920s. So the whole style of Legend of Korra is in that look, and I love it. It's awesome. But Legend of Korra did its run, and to be honest with you, personally, I was cool The Last Airbender ending as it was. Danny Phantom, however, that'd be really cool. Oh man, I cannot remember the creator's name for the life of me. I'm usually good with names like that, but because I know Michael, Bright or Mike DiMartino and Brian Konietzko were the ones for Avatar, but for the creator of Fairly Odd Parents and Danny Phantom, Fairly Odd Parents is still going on, which I personally think it needs to end.
Oh yeah, like Fairly Odd Parents. I don't get it. I don't get how a show like Fairly Odd Parents is still running, but a show like Danny Phantom only got 3 seasons.
Oh, dude, I wish they brought back Danny Phantom so they can explain. Like you remember that one special they did where they went to the future and Danny was evil.
Yes.
I would like to see how the future plays out now.
Yeah, I would too. I really want to see his kids. Like, do his kids have powers? Do they not have powers? Like, what's going on?
And the thing is, I hope the box ghost is still ripped as can be in the future.
Yeah, that's fair. I feel like he got his justice.
That. Yeah. I am the box ghost. And then he just like throws cardboard everywhere. I'm down for that. Now, I would love to bring back a lot of shows. And to be honest with you, like, not to brag about my drawing skills, I can sort of adapt to drawing styles. Like if you give me, I don't know, maybe like a week or so of just practicing drawing, I actually can probably draw anything in that style.
That's awesome. That's such a talent. I can't draw for the life of me.
Honestly, I don't know how drawing works, whether or not like how it's passed down. Because the thing is, my uncle can draw, my mom can draw. I don't know if it's genetic or it's just something I've learned. In that same regard, because I've always loved to draw ever since I was little. I was a tree killer. I wasted paper beyond compare. So that's still my thing now, except it's a little more computerized. Believe it or not, I was actually and I cleared this with John. I was actually not starting to think about, but a couple of friends of mine, we made a YouTube channel. We really don't have any videos up. We just maybe got one that's like me doing like a little speed drawing, basically explaining what the channel is going to be about. But one of the things I do plan on doing, like I said, I can adapt to certain styles, was how-to videos on how to draw in certain styles. So I could take Danny Phantom and I will analyze a bunch of different characters, how their eyes are drawn or how their head shape is. And at the end of the video, I was just thinking about just drawing me in that style, being like, okay, this is how you can adapt. That was just one thing I was planning on doing. just for those who may want to check it out, I mean, I don't know. It's really nothing at this moment.
If you want to send us a link, we can post the link with this podcast.
Oh, that's cool. I'm down for that. Just for those listening, it's called Squad Galamad. Don't worry about the name. We were just sitting in a diner one day. We had some Galamad. It was a good time. Oh. And for those who aren't in New York and don't know what Galamad is, it is a calamari. There you go. Just for those who don't know. It's a really Italian Brooklynite way of saying like calamari.
I really miss calamari. Oh my gosh. Bro, I haven't had it in years, man. Don't ever move out of New York City. You'll be stuck with the worst, crappiest food ever.
Oh my Lord. What is it? I went to Jersey just to get pizza, and dude, nothing compares to New York pizza.
Bro, why would you go to Jersey to get pizza, man?
Actually, I was going to see the Dragon Ball Z movies that came out.
Oh, okay.
And the showing theaters were in Jersey. So
did you go with Rwanda?
And then, yeah, actually, I did, which was really fun. It was really cool, and he's the best person to go to because he is such a big Dragon Ball Z fanatic. It's amazing. Man.
I gotta break something to you, James. I love you, man. I have to say though, I've outgrown Dragon Ball Z.
You know what? And to be honest with you, I don't blame you for that, and that's completely fine. Surprisingly, I am just a big child at heart, so I can't say I've outgrown really anything. I still love Pokemon. I still like everything. Right. Not so much the show, more so the games.
Right, and I love Pokemon. I love Danny Phantom, but I was just watching Dragon Ball Z one day, and I was like, I can't get into this anymore.
I don't blame you. Dude, apparently they did a new series called Dragon Ball Super, and from what I heard, I don't know. I've heard mixed things. I've heard that it's really good, but then the animation sort of bugs out a bit. In my opinion, this is another prime example of people trying to push the envelope on old shows.
Right. I feel like a couple of things that Dragon Ball Z could have done is less filler in an episode, no Hercule at all. Right. Like the fighting was so good in the first 3-4 seasons. They introduced Hercule and I feel like they could have kept Boo. Boo was a great character. Gotenks was a great character, and then they introduced Hercule, and it just flushed the whole series down the drain.
Yeah, Hercule was really he was and wasn't needed. The amount of Hercule was not needed, but Hercule himself, in a sense, story-wise, was sort of needed.
And I feel like they turned Hercule into like the unsung hero of the series.
Oh, he is. Okay, the only reason he's the unsung hero is because he managed to, convince the people of Earth to lend energy for the spirit bomb at the end. That was
right. And I feel like they could have maybe introduced 1/4 of the scenes with Hercule into the Cell game that they had, and then have him lie about it, and then just bring him in at the end with Boo, and it would have come much better. The series would have ended a lot better, a lot more cohesive.
Yeah, I agree. Well, the thing is, I'm pretty sure you probably already know this. Dragon Ball Z was supposed to end after Goku fought Frieza.
Right.
Like, that was supposed to be the end.
Yeah.
But then fans were like, no, we need more. So, Akira Toriyama's like, okay, fine. One more season. And like a box of Girl Scout cookies, another one came. So there we are with the Cell tournament, Cell Saga. And okay, he's like, now this is the real ending. And here we are. We got the crowd of fans. No, Daddy Toriyama, not again. Give us another. And he's like, okay, last one. And then there's Boo Saga, which was it needed? No, but I absolutely love it because Super Saiyan 3 is my favorite transformation. Gotenks is my favorite character. And, I'm not going to lie. I like Boo. Just all forms of Boo.
That's fair. And, like, my whole thing was like this. Like, once Hercule got introduced, I started getting confused. Am I watching, like, an action series or am I watching a comedy?
Yeah. Right? Yeah, that's exactly how Hercule works.
Right, and so, and I really enjoyed the beginning of the Cell Saga. I really liked the murders, the mystery. You don't know what's going on. Like, I'm a big fan of that, right?
Yep,
and then it was
agree.
And I wanted to see, I'll be honest with you, I wanted to see more of Android 17.
Yeah, right. I feel like sort of shafted him a little bit, just a bit, to the point where it's like, oh, I'm gonna have maybe two good fights, one of them being with Piccolo, and that is really it.
Yeah, I mean, I really do wish. I wish that 17 would have been much more incorporated, even after the Cell Saga, because you see 18 out the wazoo. Right?
Oh yeah,
But like I think you see 17 one more time in the whole series after the Cell Saga, and that's when he like threatens the people with the gun to lift up their hands.
yeah, that was it. Actually, when Hercule was calling for the energy,
Right.
you saw 17. Man, I gotta say though, I don't blame you for outgrowing Dragon Ball Z. To be honest with you, it's great nostalgia because I feel that same way about, believe it or not, Ed and Eddie. Now, I still love Ed and Eddie mostly for the nostalgia factor, but I did watch an episode and I'm like, this doesn't have the same feel to it that I did back in the day. But I still love it to death. I will look. I have no problem turning it on and I will watch it, but it just does not have that like this is the good stuff type of deal.
Yeah, exactly. Like I can still turn on Danny Phantom and I can be like, this is the good stuff.
Yeah. And dude, Codename Kids Next Door. I don't know what happened. One day I was just like, because I was actually thinking of cartoons to do for that one segment I was mentioning earlier. I was like, Codename Kids Next Door. I love that show. I still love that show. Let's watch a bunch of things on YouTube. And I was just having a ball. One of the main things that caught my eye was the tuba episode, if you remember that.
I do remember that.
Nigel Uno and his dad, and then just some other kid who plays tuba.
Yeah, it was.
Or a sousaphone.
Did you ever get your official Codename Kid Next Door ID?
Oh, I remember that, but no, I don't think I did. How was I supposed to do it? Go on CartoonNetwork.com?
Yeah, I don't know if it's still there because the show's been gone for a while. But what it was is you can go on and you type in your name, and then they give you a number, right? Out of all of the other people who do it, and out of all the codecs of the kids that are in the show, and then you become an official member of the Kids Next Door.
I believe I did it, but I just don't remember my number or anything.
I don't remember my number, but I remember I did it. You could pick your own weapon, right? It was just so good.
Mm-hmm.
That was one of the really good shows.
That was. Do you remember back when Cartoon Network had the segment Fridays? It's like every Friday night they had things like Kids Next Door, but they had other shows going on too. It was sort of like Toonami, but on Fridays and not anime.
Okay, it sounds a little familiar.
It was more so cartoons. It had like two hosts. They looked at, to be honest with you, in like late 20s, maybe 30 at most. And they just had like little random segments in between shows. And then they just went straight to the cartoons. I'm not sure if you remember. I remember a lot of weird things that no one else remembers.
No, it's cool. I don't remember it though. I wish I did. Now it's been a while. I don't actually have a TV here in my college just because I don't have time. Like, and I watch anything I watch now. I watch on the computer, just because. But do they still have? Is Cartoon Network still a thing?
Cartoon Network is still a thing now. It is nothing of what we used to watch, but I will say this: I, of course, as a cartoon lover, and not just anime, just cartoons in general, I did peruse. I did check out the new material. They maybe have two or three shows at max that are really good. Adventure Time, as a little trippy as it is, it's a pretty fun show. That's basically what it is. Regular show, not as good. It's okay, but it has its moments.
I tried Adventure Time, and I was like hitting my head. It's like SpongeBob on crack. It's just like, I just couldn't. I just couldn't. I was doing the best I can, but I just couldn't get it.
I don't know, because I'm all about like random. So like that's basically what Adventure Time was. Like you don't know what's gonna happen because you're right, it's on crack. Everything is just all over the place. But I sort of enjoyed it. What was it? There was another show that I don't know off the top of my head. Oh, this is gonna suck. Oh well, can't remember it. What are you gonna do? But
Cow and Chicken.
Oh, Mama had a. Oh wait, no. Dad had a chicken. Mama had a cow. Yes. Oh, what was the name of the red guy?
I don't remember.
The guy with the butt. That's all I remember. He sounded like this, like, you know.
Mm-hmm. I did you hear about the Powerpuff Girls?
Yeah, I actually, believe it or not, I follow Cartoon Network on their page on Facebook because, like, you know what? I'm just like, hey, show me what you got.
Mm-hmm.
Powerpuff Girls came back. The new theme song is actually not too bad. The animation's a little wonky,
Mm-hmm.
not of the girls, but of everyone else.
Okay.
But I'm sort of okay with it,
Mm-hmm.
and they're keeping it sort of true. Obviously, they have to switch up voice actors, which really bummed me out.
Yeah, I mean, there's only so much you can do after what? I think it's been 7, 8, over 9 years.
Yeah, I mean, there's not much else you can do. But, believe it or not, I'm not sure if you knew this. There was actually a Powerpuff Girls anime in Japan.
I did hear about that.
It was like Powerpuff Z or something like that, or Powerpuff Girls Z.
I wonder where they got that title from.
I wonder. But it's basically, think of Sailor Moon combined with, like, Powerpuff Girls at that point. And it's like, you know, they have the whole clothing transformation. But the thing is, it's like they don't fly regularly. They're just like, you know, it's Sailor Moon basically. Like, they get their powers when they transform. So It's like weird. But they look like, you take what Powerpuff Girls look like in cartoon form, you put it over to anime, they look exactly how they should.
That's awesome.
They did the Rowdy Rough Boys too, which I found like really cool.
The what?
The Rowdy Rough Boys, the boy version of the Powerpuff Girls.
Oh, okay. Nice.
Yeah.
Now, what I was wondering, did you ever get into Digimon?
Oh, dude. Okay. I love Digimon as a kid. I love both Pokemon and Digimon as a kid.
Okay.
I was always more biased to Pokemon because there were games of Pokemon that I could easily get my hands on. Not so much Digimon at the time. They came later with like the other consoles.
Yeah.
But, dude, just recently, one of my, you know, Aaron, you know, he actually, you know, he sort of brought back the Digimon vibe. And I was like, yeah, you know, I missed that. So I just decided to watch like the first and second season, just out of nowhere.
Have you seen the new one?
I've heard of it. Is it Cross Wars or something like that?
No. It's like the original characters 15 years later.
Oh, that one, yes. I watched that. I'm not gonna lie, I don't like how they played Ty a bit. Like I get he's logical, don't get me wrong. Like, you see monsters and things blowing up your hometown, you should be scared. Like, you know.
I mean, I haven't gotten a chance to see it. I want to see it. I saw it like commercials. I saw like previews for it. Is it on YouTube?
Yes, it should be. If not, there are probably there's an anime site I always go to. It's called Kiss Anime. Mm-hmm. And it actually streams like high definition anime just in general. So it should be on there. But the animation for the kids is awesome. Digimon switched it up a bit, but they redid the music. And I never listened to Japanese music as a kid. I sort of picked it up when I was like early high school. Mm-hmm. But they redid it, and it sounds amazing.
Really?
Mm-hmm. And it's weird because I sort of like anything I could dance to. So the minute like I even hear like J-rock or J-pop, whatever, I'm like, yeah, I can dig it. Like, I'm very diverse in a lot of cases, except for country. I can never get into country.
Country, it is what it is. It's an acquired taste.
Yeah, I mean, it depends, because like if you consider Daughtry country, because he was for a while, you could technically say I like country, or old Taylor Swift. Mm-hmm. I like country, but not like all my exes live in Texas. Like I can't do that.
The school I go to right now is in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah,
like literally in the middle of nowhere, and so I've sort of acquired a taste for country.
Really? Like, okay, so where are you exactly?
I'm 10 miles from nowhere and like 50 miles from infinity.
Coordinates, infinity and negative infinity, due west.
You know, I got to where Buzz Lightyear was heading, you know, beyond infinity. That's how past nowhere I am. I'm in a small town called Lima.
Lima? What state is that?
It's New York State.
Oh, it's upstate, I'm guessing?
Upstate. I'm like 2 hours away from Canada.
Oh, wow, you're up there.
Yeah, it drops down to like 0 degrees here during the winter. It really sucks. This winter wasn't too bad, but like...
Well, yeah. Wait, so you've been getting the nicer weather recently, just like us, I'm hoping?
Yeah. It's been super sweet, but like last year was a miserable like winter. We got like 10 feet of snow at one point. I mean, just a crazy amount of snow, and it was just terrible.
Well, yeah, dude. The past few winters, it's been weird, and honestly, a part of me still thinks like I'm not big on global warming, the idea of it, but like part of me is thinking something's going on.
Well, look, here's all I know. I know that global warming people are crazy. Do you know why?
Bring it on. Why?
Because if that was true, we wouldn't get 10 feet of snow. It's warming up, people. Come on.
You're not wrong. You are not wrong by any means.
If anything, this is global cooling.
Global cooling, then, yeah. I mean, okay, the world does have its own like regulated system. Sure, it's going to get wacky, and I understand that. What I do think is going on, I can't say for certain, is that this is being sped up somehow. Like it's being tampered with more.
I mean, my whole thing is like, if we look at times past, we had an ice age, right? And then the ice age, it melted, right? So the Earth has been fluctuating for far longer than we've been around. You know what I mean?
That is true.
In terms of temperature.
Yeah.
So it's like,
yep.
Could we have something to do with it? Possibly.
I personally believe so. I mean, because it must be something recently, because this did not happen 10 years ago or like 15 years ago, like when we were little. This did not happen.
Right.
Sure, okay. We had like one snowstorm in like 96, but like that was really that was a big deal because it never happened before.
Right.
But that was really it. If you must know, I was born in 95 as well as Joe, but I'm just saying. And John.
Oh, yeah. We are 95 kids.
We are 90s. We are in the middle of the 90s. I feel like we're the generation that just like got to feel all the nostalgia of like pre-90s stuff, but then we're like fused with whatever's going on now. Yeah.
I remember, dude, I'm telling you, man, it's crazy. I feel like one day I was thrusted in a completely different time, right? Like one day it was all good. We had Hey Arnold, we had Rugrats, right? We had like all of these awesome stuff, all these great stuff, and then one day I wake up and it's like all gone. What happened?
I could probably tell you right now, it was 2005. I just, something happened, dude. I was sitting down, I was watching cartoons, and I'm sitting here, I'm like, where's Ed, and Eddie? Where's Courage the Cowardly Dog? By the way, that was a very dark show.
That was very dark.
Very dark show. I remember having specific nightmares about this show.
Yes, if you are listening to this and you have children, do not let them watch Courage the Cowardly Dog. It is not for children.
On paper, it sounds great. It's about a talking dog who saves his family from weird monsters. But when you watch it, it is weird. It's like the things I do for love, and you got him like running around. He's doing his thing. He's like, like no one can understand him except for the people watching.
Right.
Like, this is basically how he sounds. And then just everything else, you don't know what's going on. Like there's a dismembered head that's like, you can't plant, and the farmer, Courage the Cowardly Dog, his owner, is like, yeah, I can. And I'm like, to be honest, that's the specific episode that gave me the nightmare. It was just weird.
Yeah, man.
Just the whole show.
And what was another show that was really dark, but I also wish that it had gone on. It came out right alongside Fairly Odd Parents, The Green Little Alien.
The Green Little Alien.
He invaded Earth, but he was really bad at it.
Invader Zim.
Invader Zim, that's what it was.
That show was also sort of dark, you're right. But in my opinion, it wasn't the same thing as Courage the Cowardly Dog for the simple fact that it's like the things on screen weren't as bad as Courage the Cowardly Dog, but it was the other things that the show provided, like maybe the music or like the tone it set, that really made you feel like this is a weird show.
Right. Like I feel like that those shows, Courage particularly, I feel like shouldn't have been on for kids.
Yes, I agree. What actually, believe it or not, I did a freshman year English presentation on how cartoons are not just for kids.
Yeah.
And, I was able to do a little speech, but I also provided clips of certain cartoons to prove my point. So 2 of them, believe it or not, Courage the Cowardly Dog was obviously one of them, but Powerpuff Girls was actually the other.
Really? What about Powerpuff Girls was not meant for children?
Well, let's see. There was one specific scene where the 3 girls, they have a new friend. I think her name was Robin. And she walks up to the professor and she says, "Hi, I'm Robin." He's like, "Hi, I'm the professor." Bubbles comes up out of nowhere. He's like, "Oh, yeah, he made us in his lab by accident." The little girl Robin, without a beat, is like, "Don't worry, professor. I was an accident too." And like, obviously, as us kids, we wouldn't get that. But like, now that once you go back to it when you're older, you're like, what?
Right.
And another thing from Powerpuff Girls, the Rowdy Rough Boys, I'm going back to them for a second. Their weakness when they first appeared was if you show any girly affection to them, like kissing them or hugging them, whatever, they basically shrink. So when they came back for a second time, that actually turned into their strength. They grew bigger.
Oh.
But the way to shrink them back was to hurt their masculinity.
Okay.
So there was this one specific line from Blossom that said, "Oh, when you question their masculinity, they shrink in size." And they have that one fourth wall break where they just like look at the viewer and they're like, "Ah." Basically, referring to genitalia.
Yeah,
for the most part.
absolutely. And it's crazy. It's absolutely crazy in what our society will sneak into stuff, and it's just, oh my gosh, it's insane. And even some of the stuff today, right? Like I'll be watching a cartoon and I'll hear something, I'll be like, what on earth is, like, let's keep it PG. Do you know how Tom and Jerry ended?
Well, finally they ended, but I knew they were talking for a little while towards the end. No,
well, they might have been talking, but Tom and Jerry ended, and you can Google this. You can look it up on YouTube. Like the episode is on YouTube. They committed suicide.
They committed suicide.
Yes, they're sitting on both of their girlfriends have broken up with them. They're not chasing each other anymore. They stand on these train tracks. They sit on the train tracks. You see you hear the train coming, and then as the train gets closer, it closes out.
Oh, dude. Okay, not cool. See, now, don't get me wrong. The way they built up that situation, that was the problem. Because you want to know something? That was genuinely sort of something that you got in old Tom and Jerry when they didn't talk. Mm-hmm. They got like really violent things, but they didn't play it out as terrible as that.
Yeah.
Like there was one episode where Tom actually died. Mm-hmm. He went to cat heaven, but they wouldn't let him in. Right before he ended up there, however, you heard a splash, like a water splash, and then out of nowhere, a wet bag came on the side, and out of it were a bunch of kittens. So that was supposed to imply like someone threw a bag of kittens into a body of water, and they just got sent up to cat heaven. Mm-hmm. Like, no one really would catch that.
Right.
But again, once we look back at it now, you're like, wow. Like old Tom and Jerry, the feel of that would have been like they'd be sitting there, like, I don't know, just depressed, whatever. They have their little stick with the white bag filled with whatever cats and mouses have. And, you just hear like the, I don't know, maybe like the dinging of like a train coming, but you never actually see the train.
Right.
And like, it just cuts out to the end.
Right. And I'm not sure, it's been a while. I'm not sure if you see the train, but you definitely hear the train getting closer.
Okay.
Right. And they're just sitting there.
But that's not a way to end it.
I know. Have you ever heard of Watch Mojo?
Watch Mojo. I think they have a YouTube channel, if I'm not mistaken, but I know they're their own website.
Watch Mojo. You can find a lot of interesting stuff, and I think one of their categories is, if I'm not terribly mistaken, like dark stuff on cartoons or top.
Really, they have a specific category for that.
They have tons of categories.
Mm-hmm. Okay, I didn't think that was going to be so like specific, though.
Oh yeah, no, they're extremely specific. And they'll even break up categories between, like, one is like ambiguous, right, movie endings, and then the other one is like movie endings where you don't know what happened. And they will actually tell you the difference between the two categories, and they'll say, if you're looking for something that's supposed to be in the other category, click on our other video. Like, they're super specific.
Wow. Let's see, what other cartoons were there from back in the day?
Oh, Johnny Bravo.
Johnny Bravo. Ooh, that show. Did you ever hear the theory of Johnny Bravo that Johnny is actually a little boy?
Really?
Mm-hmm. Because think about it like this. He lives with his mom, which, don't get me wrong, is not uncommon. Especially nowadays, it's very common. But he lives with his mom. He tries to hit on girls, but in a very immature way. And it never really works out for him. One of his best friends is a little neighbor girl. And he takes karate classes with a bunch of little kids.
It makes sense.
So it makes sense. Is it logical? Maybe.
Did you ever hear the not so subtle sexual innuendo from Johnny Bravo?
Oh, which one?
So he was at a birthday party, and you know the girl that he liked who was really tall, very pretty looking?
Oh, it was the model, right?
Yeah. And she was hitting a piano thing, the thing that's filled with candy.
Yeah, the piñata.
Piñata, that's what it is. Sorry, I've lost all my.
The piñata.
But and she gets blindfolded, and she's like, "This is the first time I've been blindfolded," and then she giggles and she says, "Oh wait, no, it's not."
Not. Now I remember that episode, and that did happen, but I didn't ever think anything of that. Wow, that really is subtle. That really is subtle.
It's crazy what some of the things we have in our, and then we wonder why our kids are growing up too fast.
Yes and no. Yes and no. Thing is, Johnny Bravo was our generation, which for the most part, don't be wrong, and I agree, we grew up a little fast. But I feel like, and I've thought about this, and again, my 3 a.m. philosophy sessions, no matter what generation you are, and I've learned this as I've gotten older myself, you will always look at the next generation as sort of like a downgrade. Like something's always wrong with it. Because I can guarantee you, our parents before us looked at our generation, saw how we were coming up, and it's like, oh, all these kids wearing these Heelys or whatever, whatever's going on. Right. I can't even really remember what a lot of kids were wearing back in the day.
Well, I mean, more in terms of, like, particularly in sexuality, I feel like kids these days are getting to the point where, like, abstinence is thrown out the window, purity is thrown out the window, and we're going to try to teach our kids about sex as early on as possible, to the point where we'll even throw in subtle hints in our cartoons.
Yes and no. Again, I agree, but I can't agree in the same regard. Again, a lot of sexual innuendos in our generation, and don't get me wrong, yes, there are a lot of kids who throw abstinence out the window. In the same regard, though, I feel every generation will increase with that. Like, let's go back in time to maybe like the 1960s, right? Or even before that. There weren't any cartoons with sexual innuendos. There wasn't probably even much television at that time, except for maybe like news. There was radio. Let's just say the 60s, right? Big time for smoking weed or whatever drugs may have been going on, ecstasy, whatever may be. Obviously, that previous generation is looking at the kids doing the things now, at that point, should I say, and we're like, wow, a lot of increased sex is going on, a lot of drug use is going on. So I can't say necessarily it's cartoons. I can agree, maybe it might contribute.
Right,
I mean,
right,
obviously,
right.
popular
And obviously,
media,
it would be ignorant to say that it's all cartoons, right? Well, it's definitely not all cartoons. It's that subtle slip, though, into cartoons to make it happen just a little bit younger, right? To the point where it's like a little bit younger, a little bit younger, a little bit younger. I work with a lot of youth and youth groups and stuff like that, and I'm just shocked about like some of the stuff that some of the kids say, or like what I hear coming out of some of their mouths. I'm like, my God, you should not know what that means at like 13, 12 years. Like, it's not okay.
I agree, but then there are some points where I'm just walking around and I see a bunch of kids walking around, talking, whatever, joking, do whatever they do, and I'm like, that was sort of me at one point, and I'm hearing like all the profanities they're saying or all the things they're saying, thinking how they're so cool for their age. In the same regard, like a lot of the kids when I was that age were also doing the same thing.
Right.
So I'm like, this is just something that comes with age. Like obviously I've grown up. I've now could see this from the outside viewing in, but it was just. But I'm like, okay, this is going to happen no matter what you do. Like, it's just, I don't know. There are just like universal constants, should I say. And that is one of them. Right.
And maybe it's just, maybe I'm just a little biased. It's a sad universal constant, though.
No, you're completely right. You are completely 200% right. Should it be happening? No. But is it happening? Yeah.
Oh yeah. Absolutely. I think what we really need in our society is a because sex isn't bad, right? God created it, right?
Yeah, of course.
We need a reverence though for it, right? Like, it's not just something to be done all the time. Like, well, I mean, if you're married, go for it. But like. All the time, right? And it's not something that should be done out of marriage, right? Because
I agree, it should not. It's honestly a very strong indication of love, and I completely agree with it. Right. I agree with that.
And what is our society coming to where we teach our kids, right? It's better to be safe and use protection rather than wait. At least that's the message that I got in my high school. All three of them, actually. I went to 3 different high schools.
I could see your view on that, and it makes sense. It makes complete sense because like you feel like it's giving them an opportunity to do it, by being safe, which makes sense. But in the same regard, though, again, kids are always going to do something outside the norm because they think it's going to be cool. They think being rebellious is sort of cool, so they think like, oh, if I have sex at a young age, I'm awesome. But, then there's going to be that one idiot kid who will find himself walking into like some department store asking for a pregnancy test. To be honest with you, the fact that they give out the protection, does it influence the fact that some kids will be doing it more? Yeah, I can't say it won't, but it'll definitely keep down some rates, some pregnancy rates. I'll say that.
And like, I remember I did a 10-page report on the effects of premarital sex and what it does to the brain. And because we're pack like we're pack animals, right? You know what I mean? In terms of like we travel in packs, we like companionship, right? Like you get what I'm saying? Like we're made that way, we're wired that way. And so I found out that when 2 people have sex, when they mate, and that connection is broken apart, right? There's a chemical imbalance in the brain afterwards.
That I believe. Right. That makes sense.
And so because the bonding that's supposed to happen is being cut short, if you will. It's being cut out. Right?
Yeah.
And so then what we have to ask ourselves is on a mass level, when we teach our kids how to be safe, quote unquote, how is that affecting the chemical makeup that we're wired for? Because we're wired to mate once, like to have not mate once, but to have one mate, and that's why it's so painful. Particularly, like think about it like this: have you ever broken up with a girl, or a girl broken up with you, and it's just super painful?
Yeah, of course.
Now, how much more after you've had that intimate relationship of sex, right? You get what I'm saying? Like, how much more is that going to hurt?
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. All right. I see your point 200%. I see that actually 2000%. Wow. That's an eye opener. Like, I'm actually sort of questioning every life decision I've ever made. Wow. This is going to be for a while. Wow. You just blew my mind, Joe.
I'm sorry. I know I'm good looking. Wow. You can see me on here. You know, I should be blowing you. No, I'm kidding.
Oh, hey, Joe. How you doing?
I'm sorry. I already have a thing with John. No, I'm kidding.
Oh, foiled by John again.
No, I'm pretty sure my girlfriend would be really upset if I ended up with you or John.
Oh, darn. She can't handle our love, Joe. I'm sorry. No, I'm actually really happy. I didn't know you had a girlfriend. I'm really happy for you, man.
Thank you. Do you have anybody? And don't worry, this part can stay off. We can edit. So if you don't want people knowing or whatever, this can totally get edited back.
No, it's cool. I'm an open book. I don't care. Honestly, no. At this point right now, I've been in a couple relationships, in and out, and it's sort of like I sort of have to focus on myself, because again, once I figured out what I wanted to do in life, it sort of like was this one track mind, like I'm going to do everything in my power for me to do what I want to do. Don't get me wrong. Do I feel lonely sometimes? Yeah. But in the same regard, it's like, I don't have the money for a girlfriend. Not that you need money, but you want to go out somewhere nice. Right. You want to make some good memories. I hate to say it, especially nowadays for anything, not even just relationships. You need money.
Yeah.
So it's like, a part of me is like, do I need a girlfriend? No. Not yet. Not until I get myself more established. But hey, I mean, if something walks my way, I'm not going to turn it down.
Right.
Yeah, but that's basically it. If you need to know my love life. No, but that's really it. Don't get me wrong. The girl's caught my eye. Don't get me wrong, and I have her in mind. It's just
right, and the Lord will work that out, with you. And
yeah, of course, dude.
Yeah, he can definitely do that.
Look, I don't care if you can cut that out. You can keep it in. It's cool with me. I'm an open book.
Well,
trust me, I wouldn't say anything that was really important.
Okay, cool. So awesome, and it was great talking to you.
Oh, dude, it was great to be here, dude. I'm really honored that you actually came to me to actually come on the show. I'm really psyched about this.
Yeah, and you, I mean, I wouldn't have asked anybody else to be a stand-in co-host other than you. First, you're always the first. Like, definitely, man.
Oh, thank you, man. That's awesome.
Right, and
oh, now I'm a giant mush. Oh. Wow. Okay. I gotta get myself back together. I need to get my composure. Whew. All right, I'm ready. All right, awesome.
So, do you have anything else that you want to talk about, or should we wrap this up now? I'm good with either.
Let's see. I mean, there's really not much. There was a previous podcast I did listen to. I know you and John were talking about Deadpool at one point, but it's not about Deadpool. It's actually just about superhero movies in general. Okay. I know you just showed your brother one for the first time, where you saw
it was Ant-Man.
Ant-Man. Okay. By the way, how was that? I never saw that one.
Ant-Man was really good for what they were working with. Like, there's only so many ways you can go with a superhero with the powers of an ant, but they did it, and they did it really well.
All right, fair enough. That because I need to see that. What I want to talk to you about is, what is your opinion on the upcoming movie Civil War?
Like, what side am I
on? A, what side you're on, but B, what obviously you've seen Avengers and other Captain America movies, correct?
Oh yeah, I follow Marvel very closely. I only have not seen Deadpool. Good. That's the only one I have yet to see, and I don't know.
Fair enough. Probably not in your taste. I've seen it, but aside from all the rated R things that Deadpool is, if you just look at it as a whole movie, as long as you don't go in, because Deadpool is a character that is not taken seriously. As long as you go in with the mentality that this is not a serious Marvel movie, then you'll be fine. But what I would like to know, whose side are you on? Because I'm ready to get into a debate depending on your answer.
I have to, in my heart of hearts, because of his awesomeness and badassery, must go with Captain America.
Okay, then you are my man. I completely agree. 200%. I got a shirt. I'm saving the shirt for the day of Civil War. I am ready. Like, I got a Captain America shirt waiting. Did you see the recent trailer? Is what the reason I brought this up.
I'm sad in my heart. Because
why?
Spider-Man.
I might agree with you depending on what you mean.
Spider-Man is like, he's like the annoying little brother of Marvel, right?
Okay.
He can't play with the big boys, right? He shouldn't be playing with the big boys, right?
Yeah.
Like Ant-Man is a man, right? You know, like Tony Stark is a man, Captain America is a man, Winter Soldier is a man, right? Hell, Black Widow is a man. Like in terms of fighting, right? And
in terms of fighting, yeah.
I just look at Spider-Man and I look at him, and even his super villains, if you will, I feel like they're not real super villains. They're just like whiny people. I feel like Spider-Man's entire comic series is like the annoying little brother of all Marvel.
I can agree with you about the villains, except for maybe about 3 of them.
Which 3?
Them being Venom, Carnage, and I believe Toxin, the symbiote.
Okay, I can agree. Trio. The symbiotes are pretty. They're pretty good, but and this might just be my bias, because you only in recent movies you only see Venom once.
I know, and they did him so wrong,
right?
In my opinion.
So like maybe it's just because I don't know about you. I was at a tender age when those movies came out, and they probably shaped my view of Spider-Man. Maybe I'm a little biased.
Well, the thing is, I'm a huge Spidey fan, so I was it made my year when I saw him in that trailer. Now, there's a lot of arguments saying like, oh, the suit looks weird, you know, the CGI was terrible. I could sort of agree, but the thing is, the suit was like from the cartoons, like 1970s, 1960s, like the original design of it. And if you saw the trailer, you saw how his eyes moved.
Yeah.
Believe it or not, that is actually in the comics.
Okay.
That is how I actually do follow the comics. I've actually Marvel rebooted the universe, and I picked up, because the thing is with comics, you just jump in, you buy whatever series you want to buy, and you just read. You don't have to really know anything now. So as you can see here, I got my boy Spidey. Awesome. Right now, believe it or not, they changed him up to the point where he is like he's like Tony Stark. He's a millionaire. He runs his own company now. But the difference between him and Tony Stark is his identity is still secret.
That's fair.
So I mean, I'm really hyped for Spider-Man in that regard.
Do you know?
I agree with you. He's not a big boy though.
Yeah, he's just not. Like, I'd be okay if he made a cameo, but if he's going to be a huge part of the movie, I'll be a little sad.
I will say this: I didn't get to read the actual comic Civil War.
Okay,
but I do know this: that Spider-Man is a big part in everything.
I just hope that they deviate from the comics in that. It looks like Rhodes dies.
Rhodes dies, or he's just really beat up.
I don't know. It's not clear, but it looks. I mean, based off the trailer, it looks like Rhodes dies.
I'm just hyped up in general, man. Everyone's talking like, oh, Suicide Squad's coming out, or like Batman vs Superman. I don't care. I'm usually all Marvel, so Civil War, I'm ready.
Like, I'm sorry, Ben Affleck as Batman ruined it for me. It just crashed. I didn't need any more. It crashed and burned it for me. And what was the other? Oh, Suicide Squad looks dumb. I'm gonna say it. It looks stupid. And so
I'll say this. I mean, go on. I'm sorry.
No,
I'm sorry.
go.
You go first. I was going to say this because DC, there's one thing they do well, and it's their animated movies. So I watched the Suicide Squad animated movie, and don't get me wrong, it keeps a lot of the same characters, but the way they executed it in the animated movie was great. They did a great job of it. How they're comparing it to the actual movie, I don't know where it's going. I can't get that same feel.
Right.
But,
And it's like it's a little bit like the Ben Affleck thing. I just no one can replace Heath Ledger. He just
I get what you're saying.
he set the bar too high.
Well, I think. Do you mean Jared Leto for Joker?
Yeah.
Or do you mean Ben Affleck as Batman?
I mean the fact that neither of them are keeping their it should be Christian Bale and Heath Ledger, and I get it. Heath Ledger is dead, right? As Joker. Right, but there's no reason why it should be Ben Affleck versus Superman. It should always be Christian Bale. He's the definitive Batman. Heath Ledger's the definitive Joker, and I think it'll be a good 100 years before they find somebody of that caliber.
I agree, but to the same extent, everyone criticized Christian Bale and Heath Ledger for their roles because they were like, oh, these are no names. How are they going to be? I think they're going to suck. No one's ever going to live up to their previous thing, except for the really sucky Batman one from the early 2000s that no one talks about, which I'm really happy.
Yeah. It's like one of those things that just it shouldn't be talked about. It's but only not as cool.
Oh, exactly. It's like everyone's gonna be like, oh, Adams West was the best. Was the best Batman, or the what's his name? George Clooney was a better Batman. Everyone's going to compare it to its predecessors. Honestly, I mean, I'm not really biased or against anything until I watch it, and then we'll see where it goes from there. But DC, their movies never really hit me. Except for, obviously, the trilogy for Batman. Yeah. That was obviously amazing.
Right, and I can agree with you. DC never hit me other than the Batman movies. Everything else they did was kind of this is okay. Right?
Yeah.
It's
I watched it. Yeah.
Man of Steel might have been just a teeny bit better than okay, but nothing will ever reach Batman. At least for not 100 years.
Oh, yeah. But I will say this. DC does great Netflix series.
That's fair.
I'm not sure. Have you watched any?
Which ones are on right now? I haven't watched. I don't know if you've been listening to the past podcasts. I have 7 classes plus we have this thing called student ministry and SOS and all this stuff. So I don't get a ton of time. So I have not turned on Netflix since maybe a month or 2 ago.
Got it. Basically, the main DC Netflix series they have are Arrow, which is based off the Green Arrow, The Flash, well, self-proclaimed. No, I'm sorry. That I'm trying to think what else they got. Daredevil's Marvel. They have Gotham, obviously, but I haven't watched Gotham. I don't know.
I tried Gotham. I tried the first episode. I didn't.
Yeah, didn't feel it. I don't blame you.
Did you?
But I did try.
Huh?
You go, because you let me go last time. You go.
Did you hear? Are you following Legends of Tomorrow?
No, I missed the first episode, and I'm and then at that point, it's just I'm probably never home to watch it, or I just never remember. Mm-hmm. So I'm just gonna wait till it gets on Netflix. To be honest with you,
that's fair. I've been using Hulu, and any time that I can watch it, I've been I've been watching it, and I really like it. I like where they're going with it.
I hope so. Oh, what is it? I doubt you've ever watched Doctor Who, right?
I've seen some of Doctor Who. I tried the first episode, and I was just kind of
Okay, the first episode, the thing is, it's okay. I can see what you mean by the first episode. But I guarantee you, this is my rule of thumb for any show, I would say give it 5 episodes.
Okay.
And in my opinion, by 5 episodes, if you don't get a feel for, again, anything, if you don't get a feel for it, then it's not for you. But, dude, it was so good. My senior year of high school, I want to say 6 seasons on Netflix. I finished them in 6 days.
Wow, really? Now, did you get into Between?
Between?
Yeah.
No, what is that?
It's on Netflix. It's a Netflix series. So far, they announced the second season is coming, but only the first season is coming. I really like it. I really like mysteries. Like, I'm a big mystery person.
Oh yeah.
And so this is it's a small town and people start dropping dead. And like you become really attached to characters. But because people are mysteriously dying, you don't know who's going to live and who's going to die, right? And so I was at the end of the first season and I was like, "Oh my god, they have to come out with the second season like yesterday."
The way they left it.
Yeah, I need to find out what happens.
How many episodes is it?
Oh, I want to say it's 10, between 10 and 12.
Are they half hour or are they hour long?
45 minutes.
Oh, okay.
And they came out over the summer. I followed them over the summer. They would come out weekly on Netflix.
Fair enough, then. I don't know, because the thing is, I got so many things to watch. I haven't watched The Flash, but the thing is, with Arrow and Flash, they're legitimately the same universe.
Yeah, I know. I've seen some... Oh, gosh. I really enjoyed Arrow Season 1. I really enjoyed Arrow Season 2.
Okay.
I extra enjoyed Season 3, and then I had to cut it off at Season 4.
They just finished 4, correct?
Right, I had to not watch 4 because they got into way too much magic for me. It was too much.
All right, fair enough.
I
think I know what you're talking about with like Ra's al Ghul and everything.
I'm okay with the whole Ra's al Ghul, the whole Lazarus Pit. It's when they had to go to the other world to like get Sarah's soul back, and it just it struck me the wrong way, and I was like, I can't watch this anymore, and it made my heart sad because I really liked it. I like the nitty gritty, feel of it.
Yeah, it was. To be honest with you, it felt a lot like a Batman type of thing.
It really did. Yeah, it really did.
Which I love that. That was cool with me, and I still like it. I'm like mid season 3 right now. I mean, I sort of know what happens.
Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to spoil anything.
No, it's cool. I knew about it. Okay. It's just the matter. Like, I'm technically not even up to Lazarus Pit yet, but I know it's a thing.
Okay.
Spoilers, by the way.
Yeah.
Sorry, we did not disclose. You didn't hear it from us. But yeah, I didn't get into Flash yet. I heard it's supposed to be amazing, but
it's pretty good. I haven't seen all of the episodes yet, but what I have seen so far, I really.
All right, fair enough. That's one thing. I can't wait for it.
2 episodes are a little slow.
I'm expecting that. I'm not gonna lie. When they first introduced Barry Allen and Arrow, I'm like, is he always this like annoying?
Yeah, and it's interesting. I like the character progression because he goes from like annoying to like, you really want this guy to win.
Yeah. Okay, fair enough. So, like, you could really get behind him after one point.
Yeah, after, like I said, like after the second episode, he starts to feel like a hero, and then by the mid of the first season, you're kind of like, you really want to see this guy win.
Okay, fair enough. Well, again, I just have not even touched Flash yet. I'm technically gonna just do straight through Arrow first, then go straight through Flash, and what else? There's what is it? Oh, there's an Iron Fist Netflix series coming out.
Really?
Do you know who Iron Fist is or no?
I know who he is. I don't know probably as much as you do. I don't know much about him.
Well, what he is, he's basically a martial arts master, but in the same regard, it is a little magic-y, but not to the point of like the like going to save Sarah's soul type of deal.
Like, I'm okay with a little bit of magic, but it comes to a certain point where I'm like, this is just a little too funky for me.
No, I guarantee you this. There's only like his origin is a little magic, but after that, it's just all straight up like hand-to-hand combat. That's it. It's like I don't know how they're going to do this in the show. Do you want to hear the backstory for him? It's not detailed. It's just like one part.
Absolutely.
It's just basically how he gets his. He was always a master of kung fu, but what really made him, well, who he is, was he punched a dragon, like through its chest, and punched him in the heart. Like that's basically as magical as it's gonna get.
Yeah, and that's
he,
not necessarily magic. Like, can I
yeah,
tell you a little bit about how they saved Sarah's soul, or do you not want to know? I don't want
I really don't want to know
to. Okay.
because season 4A isn't on Netflix yet,
Okay.
and I sort of want. But nice to know that she's back, though. I really enjoyed her character.
Right, and so like what I will say about it, and this is all I'll say about it, is it got to the point where I almost felt like it was occultic. Yeah,
Really?
like
Well, I mean,
what?
the League of Assassins technically is a cult.
Well, yeah, but they weren't like. I meant like in terms of like what they actually do, right? To get her, it felt almost like I was like, this is just getting a little too dark for me. Have you ever seen something like watched a show like that where it's like it almost crossed the boundary?
Yeah.
Like I would be
Yeah.
okay if they just threw somebody in the Lazarus pit and they come out and that's like that is what it is. Right? But then there's a certain point where it's like,
what is it though? I hope in a sense I don't think Gotham crosses over with Arrow or Flash in that regard, but a part of me sort of hopes. Do you know of the Red Hood?
I do know about the Red Hood.
And you know how he's basically Jason Todd, but from the Lazarus.
Yeah,
Pit,
yeah.
I hope they do something with him.
Well, Gotham is about Bruce Wayne as a child, isn't it?
Yeah, it's about Bruce Wayne as a child, but like, obviously the Robins happen after he, becomes Batman.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just saying, obviously I know Gotham probably won't do it, but like if DC could do that, if they did a Red Hood series, ooh, I would be so happy with that.
I really want to see a Nightwing movie.
That too, yes. Nightwing's actually awesome. That's the Robin from Teen Titans, right?
Yeah,
like
yeah. I want to see I want to see a third season of Young Justice.
Okay, I'm sad to say I've never watched Young Justice. Like I caught one episode, but I haven't watched it like entirely.
Oh my gosh, bro!
But from what I've seen, it's like the next Teen Titans, and I'm okay with that.
No, it is so much more grittier than Teen Titans, it catches your attention from the first episode.
Really?
Yeah, it's one of the very few shows where I was like, I've got to find out what happens next.
Oh, that's awesome. Okay.
And then
what is it? It's not on Netflix, right? Is it?
Yeah, it is. Both seasons.
Oh, it is? Awesome.
Both of them.
Oh, man. What is it? There's if you like Young Justice, then I know this is a thing. Like I said, DC does great animated movies. There's going to be one called Teen Titans versus the Justice League.
Really?
Yes. Now, I don't know much about it. I just watched a little behind-the-scenes trailer type of deal. But it's not the same Teen Titans that from the show we grew up with. It's it's a little bit of an older Starfire. Raven looks like she's the same age, even though she should technically be older.
Okay.
Blue Beetle, which is basically DC's Venom, but in bug form.
Mm-hmm.
Beast Boy is there. He still looks young as ever. But the thing is now there's Robin, and the whole startup of this is Batman sees his son,
Damian
Wayne. There we go. Thank you. I could not think of his name. Starting to become like Batman before he joined the Justice League. Like he's like, I'm a solo act. I don't need anyone. People are holding me back type of deal. And Batman's like, as your punishment, you are going to join the Teen Titans and you're going to learn about teamwork. And I don't know what happens, but I guess at one point, like all the Teen Titans are just like, we're tired of being sidekicks. We're tired of being, like unimportant to the big guys.
Mm-hmm.
Like we're going to fight.
Have you read the comic books about what happens to Damian Wayne?
No, the thing is, I haven't gone into any DC comics, which I really want to, but there's just not a lot of things for me. Like maybe Green Lantern, I'll think about. A couple of the Robin stories I think I want to jump into, though. I don't know which one.
Do you want to know his final fate? What ended, or do you want to keep it a secret?
I have a feeling he dies.
He does.
Oh, well.
And Batman finds him.
Oh, that's terrible. Wait,
and
who was the mother?
Oh, Ra's al Ghul's daughter. Do you know how that happened? Or
well, I know Batman was technically in the League of Assassins, so I mean, I guess that's a thing.
She drugged him, knocked him out, and had her way with him.
Wow, Did not know that.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
And then Robin gives him a lecture about using protection. Well, Nightwing.
Well, Nightwing Robin, yeah.
Yeah.
I love that. Nightwing's awesome. Don't get me wrong, I like Nightwing because he's like the really goody Robin. Like,
yeah.
I like him. But I like Red Hood because he's justified for what he did. In my opinion, like Joker killed him. And when that Robin, Red Hood, Jason Todd came back, he finally finds Batman and he's like, "You let him kill me and he's still alive." Like, you know.
Yeah.
Like, and which I don't blame him, dude. Like, you think the one person closest to you is gonna avenge you and he doesn't, I'd be pretty mad too. So a part of me is like, you know what? I feel you, Jason Todd, and I'm okay with you. And I don't support your anti-hero ways, but I am okay with you. I like you.
Well, I think the important thing about Jason Todd is that he didn't even become fully evil, right? Like, so when he kills all the drug dealers, he's like, no selling to kids.
Yeah.
Right? Like even then he has some twisted form of morality. And I think that he's everything that Batman could be, but will never be.
Yes. I feel like, believe it or not, the perfect comparison is Arrow season 1.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Like, you know, obviously he's a killer. He's doing his thing. You know, he has a sense of justice, but it's, you know, cold-blooded justice. But it's still there. But then, like, season 2 is technically what I would consider Batman.
Right. And you've seen, so you're in the middle of season 3?
I'm in the middle, like, just the beginning, really. Like, first couple episodes. Nothing too crazy.
So I just want to make sure. Yeah, okay, it's season 2 that I'm thinking of, just so I know I'm not spoiling everything. I was sad when Count Vertigo died. I really liked that version of Count Vertigo.
He was good. I'm not going to lie. He was a good character for what he was.
I was sad that he bit the arrow.
Just, well, yeah. What is it? I forgot his first name, but Brother Blood.
Yeah.
I didn't know like that was him because I think Teen Titans Brother Blood, like the guy who ran the school, Brother Blood.
Oh, okay.
Like, you remember the one who kidnapped Cyborg? Like, that's what I think of when I think Brother Blood.
Yeah.
But then I see him who's trying to be a mayor, and I'm like, but Brother Blood and Teen Titans never wore a mask. He never did a thing.
Right.
Like, what is this?
You can look up cool. Like, you can look up a whole bunch of different ways, like that they from the comic books, because there are a lot of different comic books, right? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Now, do you know what happens in the comic books between Arrow and Slade Wilson?
Oh, Slade, he was such a good character this season. Season 2, I fell in love with Slade.
Do you know do you want to know what happens in the comic books? And I'm not telling you whether or not it happens in Arrow at all, but just like in the comic books.
Yeah, comics throw it at me.
So, Slade Wilson's son goes to Starling City, takes it over, and cuts Oliver's arm off.
That explains the animated movie. Okay.
In the comic books, Oliver loses his arm.
Oh, so no matter what it happens.
No matter what it happens. Sometimes it changes on who does it. But it always happens. Now, have you ever heard of Death Battle?
Oh, of course. Yeah, I saw the Deadpool versus Death.
Yeah, that's what I was going to recommend to you. Yeah.
Yep. Dude, I feel it was rightfully done.
Yeah, that's fair.
Because Deadpool really is completely OP. Like his regeneration factor definitely outdoes Deathstroke.
Yeah, and he's not even OP in terms of strength. He just can't die.
Yeah,
it's like
what is it? The only way
against Superman, and he's just not going to die.
It's true. The only physical way that you can kill Deadpool is 2 planets colliding.
Nope, even that.
I'm sorry, or was it 2 universes? One of the 2.
I'm pretty sure it's 2 universes. He gets atomized at one point and puts his atoms back together.
That's wow. Wow. But I will say this: Ryan Reynolds played an amazing Deadpool. Like, he was born for that role.
I heard
He was perfect.
I heard I heard that he got blackmailed into it.
Blackmailed into it,
I
really. I
read
heard that he
that
was just
somewhere.
I heard he was just a really big fan.
I
heard he
don't
was
know.
a huge fan.
So
That would have been pretty good, though. All right, fair enough. I mean, if he was blackmailed into it, it blackmailed him into success.
oh yeah.
Well, even more of his success. He was already successul, but
Well, my friend, I do believe it's time for us to end this podcast, but we do two things at the end of every podcast. We do a recommendation to our fans to recommend something, and then also we name the podcast. We figure out a name, and because you're the guest co-host, I would like you to pick the name.
all right. So what should I do first? Should I pick the name or should I do a recommendation?
Whichever one you want.
Okay. I think I would like to stick to the recommendation first. Can I do more than one recommendation? Because I think I got two.
Okay,
I got two recommendations.
Go for it, man. Go for it. For you and John, since John can't be here.
Woo! All right, let's get it. All right, my first recommendation, preferably if you're over the age of like 16, 17, because there's a lot of fan service. And for those who don't know what fan service is, it's basically cleavage and sexualizing. Please, at least 17, Fairy Tale. But once you look past all the fan service, it is actually an amazing story. After a while, you don't even notice it. It's actually really great. It's amazing. But now for people of all ages, I was talking about it before, Ruby. You can check it out on Netflix, actually. I'm pretty sure the first season's on there. Or you can go to roosterteeth.com, and they have all 3 seasons so far. And again, 5-minute episodes each, or 10, depending. Once they get to the 3rd season, it starts to extend a little bit to like 10. Those are my 2 recommendations. That's all I got.
Awesome. And so I think my recommendation, and this is a limited time thing, if you still want to pick this up, fans, or James, I don't know if you play the game, but it's 4 days left. It's the GRE event in Star Wars, The Old Republic. You can download the game for free, but the event itself only lasts 4 more days.
You can download it, I'm going to assume, off a website?
It's Star Wars, The Old Republic website. They give it to you for free download, free play.
And does that last for 4 days, or is it constantly free?
No, it's constantly free, but they're doing a special event this week. Okay.
Because I might partake in that then, because I love Star Wars and I've heard a lot of good things about the Old Republic. So,
dude, if you start playing, let me know. We can team up. You get extra points for having a team.
Yes. Okay, I'll let you know if I do.
Awesome.
That's gonna actually be really cool. Okay, and I guess we're gonna name the podcast this episode. Let's see. What did we go over? We went over politics. We went over superheroes. Went over old cartoons. There's a lot of things we went over, man. If we're gonna name this podcast anything, we are going to be. We're gonna name this Nostalgia Politicians.
Nostalgia Politicians. All right, cool.
Nostalgia Politicians. We will debate about all nostalgia-esque things. I guess that's all I got.
No, that's great. Let me see here if I know how to edit the name, but if not, okay, John's got it. So our fans who are listening, John is currently listening to the podcast. He kind of lost his voice, his coughing, whatever. And so that's why he hasn't been on, but he is listening, and he does love you, and I love you. And James, do you love the fans?
I don't know. Do they buy me dinner first? I'm kidding. I love you all. You are all awesome. Thank you for listening, and I love being here.
And remember, fans, look for James's YouTube channel. We will be posting a link as soon as we can. I am not the techie half of this podcast. John is. So once all of that gets situated, that link will be up. Check him out.
All right, awesome. Thank you for the plug, man. I appreciate that.
Peace out, Cub Scout.
Peace out, Cub Scout.
Bomb diggity.